Hey y'all, and welcome to Getting Deep with Deep. I'm your host Deep, and today I'm going to talk to you about a guppy rescue mission that I had to do a few weeks ago and how they're doing now. So let's get into it. All right, so a few weeks ago, my fiance's friend had found out about my hobby, and she also was a hobbyist at some point, but was leaning out of it slowly, right? So she had found out about my hobby, and she asked my fiance for us to take her guppies that she had and some of the tanks she had. Now, I didn't know too many details, but she said she showed a photo of the tank that looked to me as a 10-gallon at that point. It seemed like a 10-gallon from the photos, and the water was really green, right? So I said, okay, and then she showed me a few photos closer as well of the fish, and I was like, okay, I have red ink and aquarium salt, I should be fine. So yeah, so knowing that and then looking at the fish, my fiance also felt like maybe we could help rescue these guppies and maybe give them a better life, and that's what her friend wanted as well. Basically, we looked at it and we also saw some. She said she had some tanks as well. I said you can sell that as well if you'd like, but she insisted that we take all of it, take the guppies, give them a better life, and maybe it'll help me in my hobby as well. At that point, I probably had 2 or 3 tanks, and now it's a different story. There's a tank right here as well, so that's a different story altogether and different video for that. But yeah, we looked at that and we said, okay, let's move on and let's go there. After a few days, once we went there, it was a totally different story, right? So we realized that the tank was actually a 20 gallon tall, which is a 20-gallon standard, and the water was pretty stagnant. And uh, you know looking closer, I saw some lesions and parasites on them. A lot of them had tails picked out, the fins were rotting out, there was some dead fish in the water, and it wasn't fully filled as well. As you can see in the photos, it was probably, I would say, 5 to 8 gallons. Now, she also had a 2.5 gallon, a couple of 1 gallons, breeder boxes, and a lot of equipment, right? And I wasn't really fully prepared for that, but I said, okay, let's get into it. As soon as I saw the situation the fish were in and how they are, I immediately had already done some research prior, and I looked up Seachem Polyguard, and I had immediately ordered it from there because it was 1 day delivery. So I didn't have anything in that day, but I still have Riddick and aquarium salt. So I said, fine. We took them all in, brought them back home, and as soon as we brought them back home, I put in some red ick that I had, organic red ick that I bought off Amazon, and aquarium salt immediately in a quarantine tub that I had already prepared. um, Looking into all of that as well, first of all, I also realized that these fish have fish TB, fish tuberculosis. Unfortunately, there is no cure for that. And I knew that because I looked at the bent backs. A lot of them had bent backs, they had lesions, some of them were just swimming on the bottom of the tank, even at their original tank, right? And that made me come to the conclusion that they do have fish TB. Now, unfortunately, those kind of diseases cannot be cured. However, I did start feeding them also high protein foods. So the same night I had some community pellets. I mixed them with garlic, cut up diced up garlic, put that in. Yes, actual garlic. It's a thing. So I looked it up, and apparently garlic is good for the fish's immune system and their colors, and it's so all sorts of things. Even your fish food has garlic apparently. So then I cut up some garlic, soaked it in the pellets for a bit with some water, right? And then I sucked up the pellets with one of a pipette, right? I sucked that up, and then started feeding them that. And the next day when I got Polyguard, immediately started put that into the tank. I started feeding them frozen foods. I have frozen bloodworms and brine shrimp, baby brine shrimp, because there was a couple of babies in there as well. So I mixed that up. I started feeding high protein foods. I kept dosing Polyguard every 3 days for 2 weeks. That's what they said to do. So I did that. They all that water also, when they were in the stagnant water, had no heater, no filter, nothing, right? So I also turned up the temperatures to up to 80, 81. That could also help if there was some ick. Sometimes it gets out with higher temperatures. So I said, okay, let me try all of that. Now, at the end of 2 weeks, I wouldn't say the bent backs were cured. I wouldn't say all of that, but they look much healthier. Their colors are popping finally, and they're eating well. They're moving around. They have healthy movement. They've got the back to the normal guppy movement. Where they pick on the females and they're always looking for food. So that's good signs. Now I had them in the quarantine tub for about 2 weeks, and I said, well, the 20-gallon that she provided, I would like to use that for a separate scape. And I had a 5.5 gallon that was simply running. I moved the beta from that into its own to the 2.5 gallon that I got from my fiance's friend. Now I had the beta in a 5.5 gallon, which was here earlier, with 3 guppies. Now I know betas and guppies, that was my mistake right there. Sometimes they get along, sometimes they don't. So he wasn't really happy. I named him Axel. My fiance actually named him Axel. And yeah, Axel wasn't really happy. He was fine, but he picked on some of their tails. Anyway, so I took him out. I put him on his own 2.5 gallon, and he's really happy with over there. I removed the guppies, and I had already escaped and cycled the 20 gallon. So I put the guppies that were there in there back into the 20 gallon, and then those guppies, all these sick guppies from the tub, into a 10 gallon. On a side note, I just want to mention that keeping a beta in a 2.5 gallon is controversial. Primetime Aquatics that I know of, and multiple other YouTube fish keepers, do keep betas in 2.5 gallons if it's well scaped and stuff like that. But now, here's the thing: if you're an experienced fish keeper, only then would I suggest that you can have it in a 2.5 gallon. Otherwise, a minimum is a 5 gallon. I wouldn't suggest more than less than a 5 gallon. Otherwise, I do have it in there, and I'm going to keep an eye on him, and I have multiple other tanks that I can move him to if there is any issues, right? Only then I would do that. Otherwise, I wouldn't do that. So don't worry, there is no abuse of betas. I make sure everyone's good. I make sure everyone's well fed and doing good. Trust me, everything's good. And I specifically bought a 10 gallon separate just a tank from PetSmart. It was on a discount, so I bought just a 10 gallon glass. I already had the filter that was running in the tub. I already had the heater that was running in the tub, and the thermometer that was running in the tub, right? So I have these cycle materials. I have a gravel under this as well, as you can see in the video as well. I have gravel under this that's been sort of cycled. It had root tabs in it too, so that's great for all the stem plants that I have in the back. And so I do have a cycle tank, cycle material. Everything is fine. I have a test kit as well, so everything seems to be fine. Right now it's cloudy because I did do a water change today. However, it's also, I got some guppy grass today. So I had some guppy grass earlier that I bought from Big Al's. It was $3.99, I think, in a small cup. It was a bit brown. My fiance, I'm partially colorblind, right? So I couldn't see many colors, but my fiance said there's some brownness. So I said, okay, let me disinfect it and try to give it life. Unfortunately, that didn't work. And I looked it up on Reddit, and I put up a post, and people said, well, it's clearly gone. There is no more of guppy grass for you. You might as well put it. Someone even said it's like pretty much like kindle for wood fire, So I got rid of that. I got someone on Marketplace giving out free guppy grass. Now I gave a lot of it. I put some in this tank, some in the 5.5 gallon that I still have. That's a separate guppy grow out tank. I'll get into details in another video on that. But yeah, it's because I just added the guppy grass, and it's it's pretty cloudy because of that. I don't know if his water was dirty, it was just disturbed everything. But yeah, they seem to be doing okay now. I had to do a quick rescue. Unfortunately, this is going to be a closed system. Now, when I said fish TB, here's the thing: when your fish have fish TB, you want to make sure that none of your other fish, if you have other fish in the tank and it seems like your fish have fish TB. Now the thing is, mainly a lot of the times fish TB is only diagnosed through if your fish die, you take it to a vet or a scientific research center where they do these kind of researches, and that's how you can find out. But through research, I've thought they do have it. Anyway, if you do have it, you want to immediately remove a fish from your tank. You want to make sure that it's isolated. However, since I have all of these, I made sure that they're all in one closed system. Nothing is going to go in there, nothing from here is going to go in any of the other tanks, because I don't want to infect any of my other fish. I do use gloves whenever I was transferring them. I use gloves. I try not to. Now this water I have touched a few times. I make sure you have no cuts, because anytime you touch water with fish TB, or like dirty water, if you have open wounds and stuff, you can get infected. Now it's not deadly, you can get rashes and stuff, but you don't want that, right? So I did wear gloves when I was handling them. After I learned about everything, I and moving them here, I did do all of that, and yeah, I think they're happier, much happier, especially after adding this guppy grass. They seem to be doing good. So let's hope they live a better life. Of course, some of them still have bent backs and some still stay on the bottom, but none of them have passed. After all this time, none of them have passed. Over 2 weeks of treatment, moving stress, all of that. And just to note that I know it's a 10 gallon, there's a lot of guppies. I think it's okay stock. I have a lot of plants. I did not get into the plants that I have in here, by the way. I also have these, if you see these lava stones, dragon stones, sorry. These dragon stones is from my 5.5 gallon. That's also cycled. It had some bucephalandra stuck onto it, so I added that in. I had some anubias from that tank as well, which I added into this, right? I did buy off marketplace. I know this trusted seller who has clean waters, no pests. I bought I think it's called Pagostemon erectus, yes, and stargrass. These two things I bought off of him, and I have put them in the back. And I had Rotala blood red clippings from my other tank that I took out and posted it right, put it back right behind that castle right there. And sorry, hopefully it'll grow out and do better, but I hope that gives you somewhat of information on fish TB, how you could possibly, I mean, not treat it, but maybe help out some of the fish if they seem to be struggling, and you want to keep it isolated, right? You don't want to get it into your system, into your fish system, into your all your other tanks, because that's going to be deadly. Some might die, but that disease doesn't go away. And if those fish do give birth, also passes on. And that's why I have not moved any of the babies. And now, unfortunately, I don't want to euthanize them. A lot of them did say it's better to euthanize fish with fish TB, but I don't want to euthanize them, and I don't want to, sacrifice by taking out any of the babies and anyone else getting it. So they're going to be in this closed system. Let's hope they do okay. And yeah, I hope that helps anyone, and I hope it entertain you if you've never been through this. And you know if you do ever come across this, which I hope you don't, I hope it helps you. So thank you for watching, and watch out for the next video. I might come up with a multiple tank syndrome. I do have it. I have now 1, 2, 3, I think about 7 tanks, including 2.5 gallons, but 7 tanks. From going from one, I'm now has 7 tanks. So stay tuned, and hope you all have a great weekend, great day, great, I don't even know if it's the weekend, but have a great week, great day, great night, and see you all soon. Thank you for watching.